Hey up YouTube and welcome back to a new video with Rams Fan YT. In today's video, I'm going to be going over my League 2 predictions for this upcoming season. I think it's got quite an exciting one coming up. It's always an interesting one in League 2 with always more action going on towards the top end of the table than the bottom, I think. Purely based on the 2 up, 2 down basis in between the National League and League 2. So I say let's just get straight into it in 24th with Cheltenham Town. Well, I don't really rate Michael Flynn. Previously, I did from his great spell at Newport, where he reached for playoffs and pulled off several cup upsets. But since then, has consistently got in his sides in mid-table. Losing Matty Taylor was stupid in my eyes. He scored 12 goals in 50 appearances with the club, and I do think his replacement is decent in Lee Angol, but in terms of goal-scoring output, they're just roughly the same. They also released their backup striker in Ryan Bowman, who scored 3 goals in 17 last season. These are relatively small numbers for the strike force, admittedly, but it's the lack of good replacements, which I think is an issue, in a side that was inconsistent with goals throughout last season. When Harry Bell gets back to fitness, it will be like a new signing though, all over again. George Miller is their top goal scorer from last season with 9 league goals, which does tell you all you need to know about their lack of attacking ability. Scott Bennett has been decent defender, and I would like to see Harrison Sona given a proper chance this season, as he's 23 now and needs game time. But overall, this squad is poor. I don't think Joe Day is a first-team keeper anymore and should focus on being a goalkeeping coach. But at present, there's no first-team goalkeepers to coach. I've already said I think the striker situation does need addressing, and the defence was pretty leaky last season, conceding 70. Last season was inconsistent to say the least, and I think this season that poor performances will sneak in time and time again, and they will be relegated. 23rd, Shrewsbury Town. Shrewsbury last season went through 3 managers and were in a desperate hunt for new owners, a process which has been a categorical failure with the same old owner. Does he therefore have any motivation to continue splashing the cash in shinings? We already know they have several problems in defence, conceding 79 goals last season, the 3rd highest in the League One, and only scored 41, which was the lowest in League One as well. Sam Clucas, I think, is a good signing. He was certainly a great player at Stoke and part of that whole side, which earned promotion for Premier League. So I can't fault that pickup. And Sam Stubbs does shore up that defence with him being a strong centre-back in that Bradford back line, which earned promotion to League One last season, which had the lowest amount of goals conceded. I feel Jamal Blackman was unfairly let go, as I would have liked to see him as the first-choice keeper, especially seeing how good he was in League 2 last time he was at that level in 2016-17 with Wickham. Granada international Aaron Pierre, I would say, is another loss. Jordan Rossiter has won League 2 promotion before and National League promotion last season, so not keeping him at the club may be a major oversight. I do think Luca Houle is a good player to have, who earned League 2 promotion with the Bristol Rovers in the past. Mal Benning epitomises a good wing-back with pace, good crossing ability, and boasts a good set-piece and volleying ability, as well as League 2 promotion with Port Vale. Alex Gilead is a good player at this level, demonstrated by his 123 appearances with Bradford City. Aristote Nasiala was part of that Shrewsbury team which almost won the EFL trophy and earned promotion from the National League with Grimsby in the past. But my main issue is I don't rate the goalkeeper, Toby Savin, and clearly neither does Shrewsbury, with him being on loan in the National League last season. I also don't think they have any good strikers apart from maybe John Marquise, who somehow in an awful squad still scored 11 goals last season. So I don't believe they've patched up the goal scoring and the dreadful goalkeeping last season. So we'll be hoping their defence their defenders can keep the ball away from goal. That is naive thinking and will ultimately continue with the negativity and suffer an unexpected consecutive relegation. 22nd, Harrogate Town. The oddity of only 2 relegated teams from League 2 means that I am saying Harrogate will stay up, but in my opinion, by quite narrow margins. Harrogate have realistically been punching above their weight for quite some time now, with them historically being mainly a National League North team. Mason Bennett is a good signing, but that may be just be remembering me how good he was at Derby in that 2018-19 season when Derby reached the playoff finals in the Championship under Lampard. Lewis Cass is a signing for the future as he was a rotational player with Grimsby last season, but probably needs some regular game time. Sean McCluskey is an interesting pickup, with Maidenhead being relegated last season, but has been a good servant to that club, making about 120 National League appearances with the club, scoring on average 1 in every 5 games. I would have kept Josh March, who scored 9 goals last season, but has certainly been prolific in the past, certainly in non-league with Old Church and Leamington. Matty Daly should have been kept at the club purely on the basis that he is a creative asset. I do find it odd that Matty Falls wasn't really given a chance last season because I do rate him. Mark Oxley is a good keeper who was Southend's best player in 2017-18 when they were in League One. Anthony O'Connor is decent defender at this level. Tom Hill is young at 19 and has certainly got an exciting future coming from Liverpool's academy. Ellis Taylor is very similar, albeit has featured regularly last season for Harrogate. I just look at this squad and it is a bit disjointed with a combination of inexperience, irregular players or good players from non-league, but haven't really proven it in the Football League of yet. It may be a bit of a bumpy season accordingly, and Fuss will finish just above the relegation zone. 21st, Gillingham. Gareth Ainsworth, since leaving Wycombe, has been a rubbish manager, it's fair to say. With QPR, he only had a win percentage of 17.86%, ending his first season in charge with them in 20th, and had a horror show at the beginning of 2023-24. When basically leaving Shrewsbury all but mathematically relegated, he then decided to take a very hands-off approach at Gillingham, guiding them to 17th as he evaluated his squad. The problem with Ainsworth always faces is he likes to play aggressive attacking football, but he always signs old has-been players. A player who does buck this trend, though, is the signing of Seb Palmer-Houlden, who is young at 21, but didn't impress me that much on loan with Dundee last season, only scoring 5 in 33 league games. Sam Vokes is a more symbolic signing, maybe, of Ainsworth, having played under that gaffer from 2021 to 2025 at Wycombe, albeit Ainsworth did leave midway through. Vokes is a well-known player for a lot of people, with him being a consistent Welsh international, having made 64 appearances and scoring 11 goals for the Welsh team between 2008 and 2019, and scoring 56 in 230 games between 2012 and 2019 with Burnley, before 28 goals in 125 with Wycombe between 2021 and 2025. They'll be hoping that the 35-year-old can replace 33-year-old Oliver Hawkins and 30-year-old Ashley Nadesan combined, which is a lot of pressure. I would have kept Timothy Dieng, as he is clearly a goal-scoring midfielder, having netted 10 in 66 games with Gillingham and 15 in 59 with Exeter. I'm surprised Ainsworth didn't fancy Max Emma, to be honest, because it seems to me that it's all the perfect fit for an Ainsworth system. And obviously he was well liked at Priestfield, having made 439 appearances in all competition for the Gills. Max Clark is a good player, but won't win you games. Is just really consistent at the back. Same can probably be said with Connor Masterson. Ethan Coleman is well on track for a centenary of appearances for Gillingham. I personally think Johnny Williams is a very Ainsworth player, someone who most people would probably consider has been, with him being a key part of that Welsh squad, which made World Cup in 2022 and burst onto the scene with Palace back in 2011-12 and helped them to the Premier League in only his second season as a senior player. Is Robbie McKenzie a Gillingham legend? I don't know yet, but he has been an integral part of Gillingham seasons gone by. Bradley Dack is now with Gillingham, and I think he would probably be considered as a player the streets won't forget. Just unfortunately has had a very injury-prone career. The question therefore arises is, can this quite leggy squad be capable of challenging for promotion this season? Unfortunately, I think not. With some injury-prone players here, I just see this season more likely transpiring into a relegation scrap as they suddenly lose a lot of first-teamers to injuries. 20th, Barrow. Andy Wing has now taken the step up from the National League to League Two, and I must say he did impress me by his management of Solihull Moors, and at Branbury, with the former he reached the FA Trophy final and a playoff final, missing out on penalties. And with Banbury, he managed a historic promotion for National League North for the first time in club's history and kept them up the following season. I remain, however, to be drawn how well he can do in League Two. I don't rate any of the incoming so far, barring Tyler Walker, who is a pacey forward nicknamed The Ghost by Danny Cowley due to his ability to appear out of nowhere with a goal. But I do say he is a player with an attitude problem. But let's not forget the last time he was in League Two with Mansfield, when he was the best centre-forward in the league, without a shadow of a doubt, in 2018-19. When 44 games, he scored 22 goals. And then at Lincoln City the following season, League One, he scored 14 in 29 games. So if Barrow can rekindle that form, they have got a play on their hands. But since that 2019-20 season, hasn't had a season reaching double figures. Emile Aqua will be a loss, who in 2022-23 was the best non-league striker and Maidenhead's player of the season, as he scored 13 goals in 45 appearances. Dean Campbell should have stayed, but when a League One side comes knocking, it is very hard to persuade a player to stay, and will be a loss for the Bluebirds this season. Any Barrow fans able to tell me why Charlie Kirk wasn't given a chance with Barrow? Because in 2019-20, he was one of the best wingers in League Two with Crewe Alexandra, with his 7 goals helping the side to promotion. It just seems odd at 27 years old why he was suddenly out of favour. Personally, I think Luke Daniels is a better goalkeeper than Paul Farman, but that's clearly a managerial choice. Sam Foley provides invaluable experience to the dressing room, who as a midfielder is good at dribbling, passing and ball control, and is intelligent with a good work rate, but his problem, as it has always been, is his pace. But he was vital in Newport County's promotion from a Conference South and Yeovil's promotion to a Championship, where he was a player of the season after he got relegated back to League One. MJ Williams is a great signing made last January, who has League Two promotion and an EFL trophy on his CV with Bolton Wanderers. I think they will be able to push themselves away from relegation pack, but always look uncertain at times. But that isn't surprising considering Barrow are probably considered as one of the smaller sides in League Two. 19th, Walsall. This may seem on face value a mad call, and it may be, but they clearly had the wheels fall off in a catastrophic way last season, and I do think that will continue this season. Walsall are usually mid-table, and last season was a bit of an outlier. The issue with Matt Sadler is he doesn't know yet how to cope when things suddenly get tough, as they did from January last season. Aidan Flint is arguably the only good signing, with him being a Championship veteran, mainly known for his time with Bristol City, where he earned League One and an EFL trophy double, and many Championship seasons, and also when he was at Cardiff City. And when he was with both clubs, really, he was actually great for his heading ability into the goal as a centre-back. He scored 36 goals in 209 appearances for Bristol City and 10 in 86 with Cardiff. He also earned League Two promotion with Swindon Town and Mansfield Town. And in his youth, he was definitely one of the best non-league defenders, such as in 2010-11 when he won promotion with Swindon. When he helped Alfreton Town to promotion to the conference. Losing Guyana international Liam Gordon to rivals Port Vale will be a major blow, especially considering for his crossing ability. I do question the logic of allowing Danny Johnson to leave on a free, even though he was a rotational player. I do think having Charlie Lake is a good player, especially with that 2023-24 season with Sutton, where he was the best player in a season they were relegated. Jamil Matt, I'm surprised, hasn't gotten a Jamaican call-up, especially with how impressive he was with Forest Green Rovers, helping the side to League Two promotion. His second promotion from League Two as a player, with the other being Fleetwood. Arguably, he was the best player in League Two while at Forest Green, where he scored 35 in 82 league games over 2 seasons at the club. Ronan Maher, I think, deserves a crack at a regular first-team start, considering how pivotal he was in keeping Vauxhall Olympic in the National League North. Jamie Jellis was one of the best players in the National League North when he helped Tamworth to second consecutive promotion to the National League, partly due to his influence, actually. Albert Adoma, who many will remember as an absolute legend for Ghana during the 2013 AFCON or 2014 World Cup. And he's always been a good player, with him being one of Barnet's best players when he was in League Two, which led to a move to Championship side Bristol City, where he was their best player in 2010-11, which was his first season of Championship. He was also immense in the Championship with QPR, Aston Villa and Middlesbrough, where the latter two helped to the Premier League, so he's clearly a baller on the wing. My one concern with this side is that the wheels did well and truly fall off that last season, and if that mindset continues into this season, could see them tumbling down the table to lower mid-table this season round. 18th, Crewe Alexandra. Lee Bell is actually in the top 20 for longest serving managers in the top 4 tiers. However, has yet to prove to me any reason why he's been afforded so much time, with a squad certainly capable of reaching the playoffs, which admittedly did do in 2023-24, only to lose against Crawley in the final in a bit of a shock defeat, and then somehow managed to bottle again being in the automatic promotion race until January. They then capitulated to finish in 13th. Coincidentally, around the same time, an unnamed club approached Bell. Josh March, as already mentioned, is a good pickup on a free transfer, especially since he won League Two promotion twice with Forest Green Rovers and the other with Stevenage, albeit wasn't really that important in the latter's campaign. Tom Booth has been given the number one for this upcoming season, so the 20-year-old does have a lot of pressure on his back if they're expecting him to be the starter. Zach Williams somehow is only 21, despite already making 110 Football League appearances for Crewe, and is their vice-captain, certainly an aspiration for any young professional. Connor Thomas has League Two promotion in the past with Cheltenham Town, but last season didn't even make 20 appearances in the league for the club. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him leave the club in search of more regular football. Maybe a team like Altrincham, Macclesfield or Chester. Omar Bogle is at the club, who must be the most inconsistent player of all time, really. Because with Newport, he scored 24 and 71. With Grimsby, he scored 32 and 68. And with Solihull Moors, he scored 62 and 111. But he's so frustrating because he only scored 5 and 30 with Crewe, 5 and 20 for Hartlepool, 3 and 27 with Doncaster, and 2 and 17 for Charlton, 4 and 21 for Cardiff, and 3 and 14 for Wigan. But on his day, Bogle can score with his head, with his right or left foot, can dribble or hold the ball up. It's just a shame of his lack of consistency. Joel Tabiner is 20 years old, yet has made 72 appearances for Crewe. Mattis Holicek, likewise, is 20 and made 59 appearances for Crewe. James Connolly is also 23 and expected to be a regular starter this season, who in his first season as a men's team player helped Bristol Rovers to League Two promotion. And who can forget the Peckham Perlo of Jack Powell, who is gutsy and skillful in equal measure and provides a little bit of experience to a relatively inexperienced squad. Charlie Finney, if he can put his injuries behind him, will definitely be another young asset. And Lewis Billington, it also has a bright future. As you can see from this overall squad, there is a repeatable quality, but can also be a drawback. And that's most of the team is under 23. And that youthfulness will reap dividends in the future, but won't produce short-term success. So a lower mid-table finish for me, whilst the youngsters gel together further. 17th, Swindon Town. My managerial flat cap brother is in charge of Swindon. Now, we all know Ian Holloway is a divisive manager, known more for his media antics than managerial ability, let's be honest. Swindon, however, have an overachieving squad last season, with them tipped by many for relegation last season, although I personally did not. I think another mid-table finish would be respectable. James Ball is a great signing from last season's playoff winners AFC Wimbledon, who was transitioned from a defender to a box-to-box midfielder with a threat of goals, but was certainly not a regular player with the Dons last season. Tom Nichols is another good player who brings others into play with his hold-up play at the top of the pitch, so frequently has a lot of assists and goals, as in 280 League Two games he scored 68 and assisted 39. Essentially a goal contribution, 1 in 3 games. He also experienced League Two promotion with Mansfield a couple of seasons back. Lewis Ward, I imagine, has been signed as a backup goalkeeper, but he certainly is a decent one. But arguably the best signing is Billy Bowden, who was probably at his best with Bristol Rovers, where he scored 35 goals in 95 appearances and helped them to earn promotion to League One. He's also earned League Two promotion with Swindon Town previously back in 2011-12. I'm sure fans may be able to remember him fondly for that time. And when he was at loan at Crewe, he helped them to League Two promotion as well. But one of his best promotions came in 2024 with Oxford United, when his 17 goals and 89 appearances ended up with League One playoff promotion. I certainly think there is a player in there to perform well at League Two. I think it's a shame Jake Kane was released, as I thought he had a lot of potential. I mean, you don't play for Liverpool's academy if you aren't a good youngster. I also think George Cox should have stayed, but unfortunately a broken foot may have ended his career. You'd hope not, because he was a good player before that happened in January. Grant Hall provided pivotal experience, especially due to his spell at QPR, where he made 119 championship appearances with a club and won the Player of the Season in 2015-16. Connor Ripley, I'm yet to be drawn on, as he's one of those modern-age goalkeepers who is fine in collecting crosses, but playouts on the back far too much for me, especially for League Two, and can therefore be error-prone. But that League One season with Morecambe, he was a real diamond in the rough at Morecambe there. Ollie Clark was a great player about 10 years ago when he won back-to-back promotion with Bristol Rovers. As arguably their best player when in League One. And he also won promotion from League Two with Mansfield Town recently. So certainly a great captain material. Danny Butterworth is an interesting one who can hold the ball up and keep possession really well for a number 10. Can create chances, score goals and make that final pass, but he just hasn't shown it as regularly as you might think, so he can be a frustrating player to watch. Gavin Kilkenny started his career by helping Bournemouth for the Premier League, but it was only really last season did he have a consistent run in, and I remain to be drawn if he can convert his potential. Overall, it was a squad which is very capable of doing better. I just realistically see them being a bit of a mid-table season. 16th, Salford City. Carl Robinson, I do think, is a decent manager at this level. I think we can all point to a spell with MK Dons when he reached the Championship. I don't think he was that good at Charlton Athletic. And with Oxford, he did an all right job reaching the playoffs, but had a horrid 2022-23 season in the side which later proved capable of promotion. So far with Salford, I realistically could have seen this squad finish in the playoffs, but they failed last season. George Grant is a great signing because he earned promotion from League One with Luton Town and was the best midfielder in League Two back in 2017-18 when on loan at Notts County, and in League One in 2021 with Lincoln City. So he is a massive coup. Mark Howard is a good keeper to pick him up, with him being a key part in Bolton's League One promotion in 2016-17. But more recently was the reason Carlisle United stayed in the league, the Football League that is, in 2021-22, and helped Wrexham certainly during their National League promotion, but only made 7 appearances in their League 2 promotion and 10 in their League 1 promotion. So has been a backup more recently, something he probably wants to break this season. Kadeem Harris looked great when he burst on the scene in League 1 with Wycombe Wanderers, but I don't think it has ever really worked out for him, with his greatest success being winning a second tier of Turkish football with Samsunspor in 2022-23. Getting Matty Young back on loan is a great move, considering he was so good last season, which resulted in him getting an England under-20s call-up. I look at the release players and I do have questions. John Taylor is valuable experience to the dressing room. It helped Rotherham to League One promotion in 2018, and you need that experience in League Two to get over that line. Curtis Tilt is a shame. He's gone because I think that experience... It's a shame, really, that he's gone, actually. I think that experience would have proven invaluable. But I do understand him moving to Bradford. It's the league above, after all. Matty Lund is a hugely experienced player who has been known as one of the best passers in the game and offers both defensive and offensive attributes. Just looking at his 21 goals in 143 League Two appearances with Salford, and even keeping him as a coach would have been wise. So it's a shame that he's gone. Ryan Watson is a veteran at League Two promotions, having achieved it 3 times with 2 different clubs. I just feel this loss of experience of gaining promotion can actually cause the team to slump. And on paper, this side should be challenging for the title in reality. It will come as a shock due to a lack of experience in the side, as they've all been released. And when the challenge gets tough, who are the big figures in that dressing room to take a hold of it? But this is probably my maddest call during this entire video, potentially. 15th, Crawley Town. The question is whether Scott Lindsay can replicate his spell last time he was at Crawley, but considering his spell with MK Dons, I don't hold out much hope. The squad is still mainly consisting of a team which was relegated, but has got some good signings in it. Reece Brown is a good signing. If you remember, he was one of the best midfielders in League Two in 2018-19 with Forest Green Rovers. Jay Williams returns as a player who was pivotal in Crawley's promotion. Antigua and Barbuda international Dion Pereira has been added to the club. Carl Scott was great at Chelsea's academy, but is approaching his peak years now, and I don't think has proven that much. Part of the issue is they've lost their top scorer from last season in Russian Hepburn Murphy. Ball-playing centre-back, Toby Mullarkey will also be a loss, as will Guinea-Bissau international Panush Kamara, and I do think Junior Quiterna will also have an international call-up to the same national team. No, but he has gone to Wycombe. I do rate Will Swan for his movement, first touch, awareness, and finishing skills, but alas, he's gone to Bradford. Admittedly, he's probably League One standard. I feel like Sonny Fish could have played a key role in this upcoming season, but they opted to let him go. Jeremy Kelly, who helped Crawley to promotion last time, has gone back stateside. Canadian international Liam Fraser is potentially the biggest loss, just to say it never worked out at the Sussex side. There's still some good in this side, such as the Ghana international Jojo Wallacott in goal, who was the best goalkeeper in League Two in 2021-22 with Swindon Town. Captain Dion Conroy, who achieved League Two promotion with Swindon and Crawley. Former Derby County's assistant manager Richie Barker's son Charlie Barker. Harry Forster, who I thought displayed maturity beyond his age last season. Jack Rolls, who was also part of that unexpected promotion-winning squad at Crawley, as was Joy McKenna, but as a bit part player. He'll be hoping for some regular action this season. Ade Adeyemo was also in that squad which earned promotion, but he is certainly a player who we've yet to see the best of. Anthony Papadopoulos was a good player on loan with Maidstone last season and has something to prove this season, I think, with Crawley. Former Derby County Academy graduate Louis Watson, who I only found out researching this, is the son of Darlington manager Steve Watson. Joss Flint, who was initially an attacking midfielder, but is now a centre-back, mainly due to his height, but is technically gifted as well. Tola Shuenmi, maybe one of those golden talents in his youth, but can't cut it at men's football because there's yet to be any great seasons with him at present. So, judging this side at present, there is a fundamental lack of firepower in front of goal, and they currently haven't brought in any defenders, despite having a worse defence in League One last season. I think mid-table is a fair assessment on this current squad's ability. 14th, Bristol Rovers. Last time Darrell Clark was with Bristol Rovers, he implemented an attacking, passing style, scoring average 2 goals a game. But he is also known for an adaptability, really. He does tend to have large squads with much rotation and doesn't hold back in interviews. He is certainly someone who has the credentials for an instant return, but questions do remain over whether he has good enough players at his disposal. Macaulay Southern Hales is a good signing who has made over 100 appearances for Stockport County, involved in promotion from the National League and League Two. But other than that, I don't rate any of the signings. Shane James Wilson is gone because he has plenty of experience in promotion, no less than 4 promotions on his CV. Giovanni Brown is another valuable experienced player released. Same can be said of Jack Hunt. Luke McCormick probably had his best spell up to date when he was on loan at Bristol Rovers in 2020-21, but somehow hasn't earned a new contract because he just wasn't utilised enough, in my opinion. Romain Sawyers, they just didn't play, so he didn't get a new contract. But everyone knows the frustrating nature of the St Kitts and Nevis International. You can find key passes with a range of passes and leadership qualities, who in that 2019-20 West Bromwich Championship promotion winning side were probably the best winger in the Championship. While at Warsaw as well, he reached the EFL Trophy final, and the season after that with the same club was arguably the best winger in League One. While Brentford win the Championship, I also thought he was their best player. So it's really puzzling me to why he was released, because on his day, he has magic in his feet. Much of the same can be said for fellow winger Scott Sinclair, who has a highly decorated CV, including FA Cup finals, Championship promotions, Scottish Premierships, and Champions League experience. Grant Ward will be forever remembered for that season in 2015-16 with Rotherham on loan in the Championship, where he was arguably the reason they stayed up. He also helped Blackpool return to the Championship. These are key experienced pros to leave on a free, you know. I don't rate either of the goalkeepers, and I do rate some of the backline with, Connor Taylor, Taylor Moore, and Clinton Mola, and obviously the new signing Southern Hales as already mentioned. But my biggest issue is I don't think any of the midfielders or strikers are League Two standard, and that could be fundamentally a difficulty. Of course, I will rate Derby Academy products in Luke Thomas and Isaac Hutchinson, but quite frankly, I just don't see this overall side being much more competitive than mid-table. 13th, Notts County. Martin Paterson is possibly the most self-defeating appointment in managerial history. His only history managing before was a 25% win percentage with Burton over 20 games, almost getting them relegated, and is yet expected to be better than Stuart Maynard's team of last season. Afghanistan international Maziar Kuya is a great pickup from York City. Kelle Roos seems to have finally found his level in League Two, who as a Derby fan I can attest cannot catch or claim a cross to save his life, but can do a good shot stop. It's certainly a downgrade though in my opinion on Alex Bass, who has gone to Peterborough. Barry Cotter is a good option on loan, but presumably has an eye to be made permanent, and I don't know about that. Let's just consider some of the players lost on a free, which will be a detriment to the squad. Sam Austin, who from midfield chipped in with 6 goals last season. Cole Cameron, who made over 100 appearances for Notts County. David McGoldrick, who is a phenomenal goal machine, scoring 17 goals for the Magpies last season, despite being 37 years old. Certainly someone I regret Derby not keeping. Loyal servant and arguably best left back in the National League with Notts County in 2022-23, with that side which earned promotion in the form of Adam Chickson. But he was never given a chance to prove himself with them at League 2 level. And why did Tyler Miller join Notts County anyway? Overall, they still have a decent defence and midfield, but my concern is losing McGoldrick, reducing goal scoring, and he was a lethal duo with Jatta, who admittedly I think is still who is still admittedly of a club, but some League One club is surely going to have to sign a player who scored 16 in 29 games last season and is only 26 years old, who is actually apparently linked to the Portuguese top flight last time I checked. If he moves, that leaves serious questions in attacking, losing over 30 goals. That would be almost half a goal scored last season, which, let's be honest, would create a mid-table side. So for me, poor managed change decision and possibly losing their 2 attacking threats will result in a mid-table season. 12th, Milton Keynes Dons. The Paul Warren project is certainly harder than I think a lot of people are possibly giving credit for, with a huge wage bill, huge expectations, and a side which were closer to relegation than the playoffs last season. Warren normally takes at least a season to get any success, and you can't say they haven't added any attacking options though, with Russian Hepburn Murphy, Aaron Collins, who both scored double figures last season, and of course Nathaniel Mendez-Lang whipping him crosses, who I think has slightly lost his legs for the championship level, but when with Derby in League One had the assist record for Derby of all time with 15, which earned him a slot in the League One team of the season 2023-24. So can certainly still do a job at League 2 level. Just please continue the chant, and if you don't know it, skip this because I'm going to sing it. Do I sing it? Oh, go on. He came from Swansea, he took them to the Prem, he'll come to Derby, he'll do the same again. He's got no neck, but he's got a massive wang. His name's Nathaniel Mendez-Lang. There you go. You got me chanting. So, yeah. Gethin Jones has been a loyal servant to Bolton as well, helping them from League 2 promotion to knocking on the door of a championship. And he's an Australian international and certainly towards the peak of his career. Jay Williams will undeniably be a loss. Ellis Harrison will be a loss due to his physicality up top, but as much as I already stated, they have replaced him adequately. Now, they say never read too much into pre-season friendlies, but to only beat non-league sides and even losing against Wealdstone as an example is not a good omen at all. I won't read too much into those results, but you can tell Warren has got an uphill challenge to turn this side around. So I think mid-table is actually a generous prediction. I realised in the song that I actually said Swansea, and I think I meant Cardiff. So I'm sorry, I'm tired. It's been a long day. 11th, Oldham Athletic. Great to see Oldham back in the EFL. Shouldn't have ended up in non-league anyway. Mickey Mellon obviously has tons of League 2 experience, earning promotion from this league with both Shrewsbury Town and Tranmere Rovers. As expected, there has been a few additions to compete at this level, but one I would pick out is Ryan Woods, aka the Ginger Perlo, who is incredibly versatile, but mainly known for his being a central midfielder, as a range of passes, and was previously under Mellon and was known for hard work on the training ground when he was with them last. So you can see why the reunion is occurring with him being a key side in that key side in the League 2 promotion winning Shrewsbury side. A lot of players were released on frees. Not all, I must say, I think are fair. Dan Gardner was with Oldham in League 2 previously, so he does know this level. Kurt Willoughby hasn't been given a chance at Oldham, but has previously proven himself great at National League North level, historically with FC United and Manchester, and last season with Chester. Pakistan international Otis Khan, Josh Lundstrom, and James Norwood, who, let's not forget, scored 17 goals in 2023-24. But overall, we know the gap between the National League and League 2 isn't very big. So I reckon a competitive season with maybe an occasional shout for playoffs, but nothing serious. And this season should be seen as a transitional one. 10th, Newport County. They just needed rid of Nelson Jardim. I'm telling you now, this side has heaps of potential with the right manager. David Hughes is a very peculiar appointment, though, let's say, because his only experience as a senior manager comes almost 20 years ago with Barry Town. But since then, he has been getting his coaching badges and has worked with some of the biggest academies in football, with Aston Villa, Southampton, Cardiff City, and Manchester United. This is good because the average age of this Newport squad is young at 23.4 years old. They have signed a great keeper in New Zealand international Nick Saznev. Out of the players released, the only one I'd keep is James Clark, who showed immense loyalty to Newport, making over 100 appearances since joining in 2021. Admittedly, Anthony Glennon is a better and younger defender at 25 and is a great left back. Courtney Baker Richardson has struggled to hit double figures, but his goals have nevertheless been important. But he needs a good partner, which they're hoping either Garner or Reindorf can prove to provide those additional goals. Michael Spellman is a great winger, but has rarely been given an opportunity to prove this in the Football League. I feel with Hughes being a manager who will give preferential treatment to youngsters, to high energy of youth, and an enthusiasm for the badge, which you just don't get with players who have moved around a lot. I think we'll see Newport hugely improve this season. 9th, Accrington Stanley. John Doolan did have a poor first season management, but he inherited a squad in decline, as it was one which was recovering from a poor League One season and years of Coleman management. So, of course, it would take time to change philosophy. There were a lot of changes last season, which needed time to gel. And as you still have some of the old guard like Sean Wally having to learn to strike partnership with a player like Charlie Brown, I think it was always going to take time. Both are great players in their own right as well, but are at different ages and have different skills. I think you look overall, there are certainly signs of a squad that compete for the playoffs. They just need a bit of confidence. Alas, I think they will fall just short. 8th place, Tranmere Rovers. Andy Crosby is a great manager who is someone who is no nonsense and will tell it as it is. He was interim in charge over the playoff final with Port Vale when they won that playoffs to win the promotion. The 2023-24 season was certainly a mixed one. So I think he did a good job early doors, reaching the EFL Cup quarter final and had a great early season, but he was sacked in February with a team 20th. But that was above relegation zone in a newly promoted side. I don't think that would have been too unexpected. Well, then he moved to Tranmere and he secured Tranmere's safety last season, which was far from certain when he came in. His present form at Tranmere is actually indicative of a playoff challenge. And they brought back St. Kitts and Nevis international Ethan Bristow, and that's a good move as he was a bit part player in Stockport's promotion from League Two a couple of seasons back. Nathan Smith is as brave as a lion, according to Tom Pope, who also praised his ethic in training. And we all know he's dependable, pacey, strong, and passionate. Essentially, someone who is a nightmare for 90 minutes and is a Port Vale icon, who, with a decade at the club, made 428 appearances in all competitions and was instrumental at League Two promotion winning side back in 2021-22 and last season as well. Jason Lowe is another player who gives his all and is a versatile player capable of playing in defensive midfield or right back. But you can see he's been everywhere on the pitch during the game, as is another ex-Port Vale player to make the switch. And he is rather another ex-Port Vale player to make the switch, reuniting with former manager Crosby. Richard Smallwood couldn't be more of experienced professional if you tried, really, with 3 League One promotions and was a key part in that Bradford side, which won League Two championship last season. And it was actually so good, he was in the League Two team of the season and Bradford's player of the season. I would go, it wasn't the championship, it was third place, wasn't it? I would go as far as to say he was this good when he was the best player. The last time he was this good, rather. He was the best player at Rotherham in 2014-15, in a season which his performances managed to keep them in the championship. There will always be losses in the transfer window. And for me, defensive ball-playing central midfielder Brad Walker, who can also play in a back three, who has strength, athleticism, good ball control, long-range shooting and passing skills, but arguably best known for his free kicks, is going to be a loss. That could have been truly a deadly two in midfield, you know. Brad Walker and Richard Smallwood would have been something else to see. I still remember Luke Norris, which earned League Two promotion with Stevenage, and there was their best player in 2021-22, where he scored 14 league goals that season. Shame he never managed to replicate those double figures at Tranmere, but at the same time, when you're playing less than half a season, it's always going to be difficult. Connor Wood can play anywhere down the left-hand side, and I'm generally surprised no one has picked him up on a free yet or wasn't offered an extension at Prenton Park, as I think he's better than Patrick Bruh, who they've brought in. Luke McGee is a great goalkeeper to have at League Two, who wasn't ever present in Forest Green's promotion from this level in 2021-22. And if Derby didn't get him as a backup goalkeeper on loan, maybe Forest Green would have stayed up. Sam Finley is certainly a player of real quality. He was instrumental in Bristol Rovers' promotion to League One. Connor Jennings is well renowned for his pace and an eye for goal in the past, but didn't quite hit those heights last season, so I think he will be looking to put them right this season. You just need to look at this side, and it's hardly going to be another relegation battle, is it? And some of these signings suggest to me that they're going to be in a playoff hunt, albeit may just fall short. 7th, Barnet. Dean Brennan has consistently proven himself to be a manager who can have success at whatever level. In 2013-14, he earned Southern League promotion with Hemel Hempstead. In 2019-20, he earned National League South promotion with Wealdstone. And last season, he earned National League promotion with Barnet. With over 200 games with the Bees, he has a 51.24% win percentage, something which is very difficult. And he actually has a win percentage of 47.75% over 600 games. Well, I think it's 601 actually in men's football. Again, something quite difficult to maintain over such a long time frame. Getting almost a win every other game. You have to be a successful manager to do that. Just look at the signings, which makes me think this season will be an instant success. You got Romney Kreitchlow, who made 10 appearances moving to Bradford City last season in January, enough to make a material impact and get Bradford a long-awaited League Two promotion. Oliver Hawkins, who reunites with Brennan, who he played under at Hemel Hempstead and played a key part as well in that 2018-19 Portsmouth successful season, which culminated in an EFL trophy and a narrow playoffs defeat to Sunderland. Emmanuel Osadebe, who was one of the National League's top performers last season, helping Forest Green Rovers to a playoff semi-final. But more importantly, overall, they have retained the key components of that title-winning squad. I'll say releasing Harry Chapman, who was 3 times experienced League One promotion, is an oversight. Maybe they thought Bailey Clifford was too old to teach Football League and tricks too, considering the last time he played in the Football League was 2017-18 and has never been a regular at this level. But he is a veteran of Brennan Ball, so a bit of an odd one. Ben Coker was certainly one of League Two's best players in 2014-15 when he helped Southend to League Two promotion, so also a disappointing one to leave. Jordan Croppers at long throws, I'll mention yet again. I think I mentioned it in the last one of the prediction videos. Fundamental in Grimsby promotion from the National League and Barnet's last season. So maybe not worth releasing because I think that is a real outlet you can utilise sometimes. But one of the most important contract extensions went to Danny Collins, who for 2 seasons in a row was the best defender in the National League, been a key component on why Barnet achieved promotion last season. Idris Kanu, as well as the Sierra Leone international, who has made over 100 appearances and scored 17 goals for Barnet. Not bad for a wing-back, eh? Ryan Glover was clearly an important player at Barnet last season, playing 42 National League games in their title-winning campaign. So we'll see how the 24-year-old adapts to his first Football League season. Anthony Hartigan has been one of the best midfielders in the past 2 years in the National League, earning a bunch of personal accolades in 2023-24. At 25, he certainly earned a crack of a whip in the Football League. Mark Shelton is a playoff veteran, winning 3 National League promotions, twice via the playoffs with 3 different clubs, but more importantly, with his 12 goals and 2 assists, which helped Barnet to promotion last season. Miles Kenlock is a great left-back and is probably the reason why Ebbsfleet stayed up in 2023-24 and in the National League, something which was visibly missed since he moved to Barnet last season. Overall, we know the difference between the National League and League Two is negligible, so I can say I'm fairly confident that they will finish in the playoffs this season. 6th, Fleetwood Town. Last season was certainly an underperformance by Fleetwood standards, and they will be expect to competing for the playoffs this time around, especially considering Morecambe's suspension, which I must say at the moment I think truly disgraceful with Whitnham's ownership going on there. He's absolutely running that club in the ground like he did with Worcester Warriors. Absolutely disgrace. And it leaves all the Morecambe fans quite possibly needing to go and find somebody else to support while they sort out a Phoenix club. And that's likely to be Fleetwood, I'd have to say. Fleetwood or Barrow, certainly. Or maybe Lancaster City. But we know that Pete Wild as well has got a good pedigree in League Two with Barrow, with whom he managed in his first season to take them to 9th, and then the following season to reach the playoffs. And he did improve Fleetwood from the off last season, but obviously not enough to be considered playoff challengers. But with his own squad and a full season, I can envisage them being firm playoff contenders this season. Toby Moloki is a good signing, as I thought he was decent in League One, despite being relegated last season. James Norwood is a phenomenal signing with an experienced National League promotion last season. Was also part of that Tranmere side, which won back-to-back promotions from the National League to League One. That 2018-19 season was arguably his peak, where he scored 29 goals in 45 League Two games. Definitely one of the best players that season. But recently has been great, and one of the key reasons for Oldham were promoted from the National League last season, when 60 games over 2 seasons he scored 26 goals. And they've only gone and provided another goal scorer to assist him as well, in Ched Evans, which I'm sure Fleetwood fans will remember fondly, especially for his 2018 spell on loan when he first came to the club with the Cod Army, where he secured 17 goals in 39 League One games, which wasn't even his best spell in League One. That actually comes when he had a truly incredible 2011-12 season with Sheffield United, when 36 games he scored 29 goals. If either of these two players can replicate those forms, then we may have a truly lethal front two to rival that ones of Notts County last season, They do still have a core of a decent team as well, with Guyana international Elliot Bonds. And when Sean Rooney burst onto the scene with Queen's Park, he was one of the best defenders in Scotland, especially for his age. And this earned him a move to Dunfermline Athletic, which he helped the side to the Scottish League One title, which then resulted in a move to York City, where he helped them to win the FA Trophy. But that was his only spell so far south of the border, as he returned to Scotland and did do a great job with St Johnstone, helping them win an unexpected double of the Scottish Cup and the Scottish League Cup, and has therefore played in both the Europa League and the UEFA Conference League. We know this side was recently in League One, and I reckon they have a chance to reach it again this season by reaching the playoffs. 5th, Colchester United. What did I say last season? Danny Cowley has the ability to fundamentally improve his side. This is on the basis of his ability to take Lincoln City from a National League to earning promotion to League Two, winning an EFL trophy the season after, and then League Two promotion the season after that. Since then, he did a decent job keeping Huddersfield in the Championship and building a side capable of League One promotion in Portsmouth, which did admittedly have a different manager to finally get it over the line with John Martino, but it was the blueprint that he placed in line, which enabled that success to come to fruition. Matt Macy as well proved to be a great keeper last season. I was understandably Arsenal's understudy to Petr Cech at the time, but he was certainly a good one at that. Rob Hunt has 2 League Two promotions on his CV with Swindon Town and Leyton Orient. Tom Flanagan is a great player who is a Northern Ireland international and well-versed in League One and Championship standard football. Harry Anderson reunites with Cowley from his Lincoln days, and since then has earned League Two promotion with Bristol Rovers. Certainly someone I was a bit sad not to see make the jump up to the Championship in the past, because I think he did have the quality to be able to at least perform at least one season at that level. Teddy Bishop is another marquee player who, when he burst onto the scene with Ipswich in the Championship in 2014-15, made 33 appearances and looked destined for greatness, something that never quite happened. But at the peak of his League Two last season, at the peak of his career, he is at the peak of his career, rather. He can certainly prove something with Colchester. Jack Payne was, for me, the best attacking midfielder in League Two last season, seen by his 8 goals and 10 assists, and he has League Two promotion on CV as well with Southend, but also a League One promotion with Blackburn and a Championship promotion with Huddersfield. And if you can pull those numbers up again, we may be seeing a very strong Colchester side. While I find it hard to praise Forest players Lyle Taylor has certainly proven himself worthy of praise with promotion from every level of the EFL, with AFC Wimbledon from League 2, Charlton Athletic from League 1, and Nottingham Forest from Championship. And he's definitely the best player in League 1 with that Charlton playoff winning squad. Let's not forget he is also an international with Montserrat and has netted double figures for Colchester last season, proving he still has a nut for goal. We are seeing a side here which is more than capable of reaching the playoffs, and this season I believe is one where they can achieve it. Fourth, Bromley. What a job Andy Woodman has done with Bromley. When he took them over, they were mid-table in the National League side, and in his first season, he took them to the playoffs, and in the following season, won an FA Trophy, and in 2023-24, which was the season afterwards, he took them to the playoffs, finishing second, and earning a first ever promotion to the Football League. And last season, he finished mid-table with an outside shout for playoffs. They are progressing in great fashion. Carl Cameron is a great signing who won promotion from the National League South with Torquay, being one of the best defenders in the league that season. This resulted eventually having proven himself at National League level. We moved to Notts County, where he earned promotion with that team, yet again to be proving one of the best defenders in the National League that season. And Grant Smith was a great goalkeeper in the National League in the season Bromley were promoted, especially so by his 2 penalty saves in the penalty shootout in the playoff final against Solihull. And he has also earned League 2 promotion before with Lincoln City. Cole Jenkinson was great in his youth with Arsenal, showing much promise in the Premier League, FA Cup and Champions League. So much so he had an appearance for England's national team, the first team that is. Michael Cheek has got to be considered a Bromley legend, who has made 254 league appearances with the club, scoring 114 goals, including 25 last season. You really can't get a better player in League 2, in my opinion, at the moment. Byron Webster has also probably cemented himself as a club legend, having made 162 league appearances with the Ravens since joining in 2020, and notably has League One promotion as CV with Yeovil Town and Millwall, and you can really tell why he's club captain. Kabamba has a great recent record with Barnet, scoring 54 goals in 101 appearances. Ben Thompson has great ball carrying ability, is tenacious and aggressive, and was a phenomenal youngster with Millwall, helping them to League One promotion in 2016-17. Overall, I see Bromley likely to be a playoff candidate this season. Maybe even an outside chance of automatic promotion, but certainly playoffs is the next stage of this project. And you just look at it, like every position in the pitch, goalkeeper, defence, attack, all immense. And I mean, hopefully they'll be able to bring Damien Imre back on loan, but I highly suspect not, as he had also a standout season last season as well. Third, Grimsby Town. David Artell is the archetype of a lower league management, who is a very expressive and passionate manager on the touchline and has resulted in several stunning offs in the past. But he has League 2 promotion on his CV with Crewe Alexandra in 2019-20. He also reached the playoffs with the Mariners last season in what proved quite a shock, but he proved with Crewe that he can take a side from possible relegation candidates to promotion candidates. Reece Stanton is a good signing based on his versatility, as he's able to play left back, left centre half in a back three, or in front of a back four, due in part to his really good passing range. He has, in the past 2 seasons, been Spennymoor's best player, helping them to runners up in the FA Trophy last season as well. Jamie Walker is another great signing, being a Hearts and Midlothian legend, helping the side to Scottish Championships twice, a Scottish Cup final and a Scottish League Cup final. He also had Wigan return to the Championship in 2017-18, and last season had Bradford to League 2 promotion. Jaden Sweeney is an exciting youth prospect who was a rotational player in the Leyton Orient League 2 promotion in 2020-23, and I suspect the move is to get regular minutes. Christy Pym is a great goalkeeper who was Exeter's best player in 2017-18. The season they reached the League 2 playoff final, and in 2023-24 he helped Mansfield to League 2 promotion. Clearly, Lewis Cass was out of favour despite 31 appearances for Grimsby last season. So that's a great shame that they've lost him, because he was certainly a versatile option in defence. Despite Callum Ainley playing a key role previously with Artell and helping Crewe to promotion under him, he wasn't given a new contract. Another puzzling decision, and his performances did lift Grimsby to be playoff candidates. Curtis Thompson has experienced League One promotion, so at 31, it seems strange to let such an experienced player go. Tyrrell Warren is a great player to have as an option in defence, which is frequently used by Artell. Charles Vernam is a great winger from Derby's academy, so of course I'm going to praise him, albeit never made an senior appearance for the Rams, but is now approaching his peak, so could play a huge part this season. Overall, you look at this side, which has got a lot of young players, and Arsenal is a manager who turns his youthful players into winners and will chalk up another unexpected promotion. Second, Cambridge United. We all know Neil Harris is more than capable of earning promotion, having done so in Millwall in League One in 2016-17, and has only proved himself as a League One manager before, and he now takes on the challenge for an instant return to League One. Dominic Ball is a great signing who has played a role in Ipswich back-to-back promotions to the Premier League and was really important in Leyton Orient's League One playoff ending campaign last season. So it's a huge coup to pull off for this level. Ben Purrington has won League One promotion in the past with Rotherham and Charlton Athletic and has spent most of his career being too good for League One but not quite Championship level, so he could excel at League Two level. Luton legend Mpanzu is a powerful box-to-box midfielder with endless energy who is most at home in a central midfield role but has been a centre-back before. But with 11 years and 412 appearances for Luton, he will forever be remembered as a club legend and was a key part of their ascent through the leagues, helping them from the National League to the Premier League, and relatively recently made 27 Premier League appearances. So to have someone with so much experience, who was one of Luton's best players in that time, shown the fact that he got Democratic Republic of Congo called up. There is no doubt that he is one of the best League Two transfers this window. A lot of players have been released, some will we miss, such as Paul Digby, who over 5 years made over 200 appearances for the club. Goalkeeper Jack Stevens, who should arguably have been played more last season. If he was, maybe they would have stayed up. Jordan Cousins is also a loss with Jamaican international key in Wigan's League One promotion in 2021-22. Birmingham City legend and experienced veteran Gary Gardner, I think, will be lost from the dressing room. I do remember Scott Malone being a great wing-back for Derby, but clearly age has gotten to him, so maybe he should retire. Michael Morrison is a captain, and understandably so, as he's twice won League One promotion. Once with Leicester, but more importantly with Charlton, where in that season proved to be one of the best centre-backs in League One. Corey Smith is certainly more than capable of playing in League One football with his range of passing. So to be in League Two is going to be an interesting one. I think he could certainly prove to be an asset. Elias Kachunga is also a good player to have, seeing he's earned League One promotion with Huddersfield before and an EFL trophy with Bolton Wanderers. And he's never been a prolific goal scorer, though, but he still netted 7 goals last season, and it's his pace which is a key attribute. I would like to see Zeno Ibson Rossi featuring more regularly this season, and I think he has huge potential if only given a chance. This side is more than capable of reaching promotion with several players who I think are capable of playing in the league above. And of course, first place is Chesterfield, as if it's any surprise that I'm going to back a Derbyshire team to win the league. It's easy to lose track of the amount of promotions Paul Cook has achieved, with his most recent coming with Chesterfield from the National League, but he's also had 2 League Two promotions and a League One promotion, so has expertise to get out of this league. Zach Hemming is a good signing considering how good he's been in Scotland, especially in 21-22, when he helped Kilmarnock win a promotion from the Scottish Championship. But even in 2023-24 with St Mirren, he did well in the Scottish Premiership. Dylan McCandy is a player with huge potential and has done some decent performances with Blackburn Rovers in the past. I would say losing club legend Ollie Banks is going to be a miss in midfield. Michael Jacobs has much experience in promotions, but I don't blame him for jumping up to League One. Ash Palmer didn't feature regularly last season, but I think would have been useful as a squad player. But I really need to rattle off big names of this club? I'm gonna go on then. Raheem Shackelford, who I'm expecting to play a huge part in this season. Tom Naylor, who was Chesterfield's best player in 2023-24, when he played a huge role in helping them to the National League title, and as a vice captain with experience of League One promotion and an EFL trophy, certainly will help, in my opinion, the Spirates lift the title, and not only because he used to play for the Rams. Jamie Grimes, who was one of, if not the best centre-back in the National League when Chesterfield lifted the title, so is understandably captain. Liam Mandeville possesses what you need from a winger with good vision, finishing ability, and he's good with both feet and very good technically, which can all be seen in his 32 goals and 28 assists in his 264 games for Chesterfield, of which 9 goals and 14 assists came in 2022-23 when he was Chesterfield's best player, and I think he was probably the best winger in the National League that season when Chesterfield were promoted. Will Grigg is still on fire, and your defence is still terrified. Will Grigg's on fire. Your defence is terrified. Will Grigg's on fire. We're in a singing mood today, aren't we? As he's netted 36 goals in 70 league appearances for the Spyrites. Sheffield United legend John Fleck is now with Chesterfield, coming with a League One promotion and Championship promotion on his CV as a regular when the Blades were in the Premier League. It's not only old players, though, which are good. Like, look at the likes of Lewis Gordon at 24 years old. He's always putting up great defensive numbers that anyone can be proud of. Talking of good defensive numbers, Carl McFadden is someone who really gets stuck into the tackle. And you always know when you've been in a game with when he's on the pitch. I remember his great spells at Burton Albion and Coventry City. I mean, when Burton were in the Championship, which is still a mental thing to even consider, he was by far one of their better players. Paddy Madden is still going strong as well. And let's not forget he recently won League Two promotion with Stockport County. I think this could be Connor Cook's breakthrough season to see if he can follow in his father's and gaffer's footsteps, I suppose. St. Lucian international Janoy Donatian is a versatile defender, capable of playing anywhere in defence, primarily as a full-back or centre-back, and is known for his tackling ability, athleticism, 1v1 defending, but is also capable of racing down the pitch to whip crossing. This team is absolutely stacked with quality, and I fully anticipate them to win the league, and I'm all here for it. I would love to see Chesterfield doing it. Okay, we have got some comments. Wednesday night, good evening. Thoughts on the Morecambe situation? I think I addressed a bit of that in terms of early on in the video. Very, very disappointing to see such a poorly run. I'm sorry, but that owner should never pass the EFL fit and proper test. And obviously, thoughts going with you as a Wednesday fan in terms of not quite the same situation, but both are trying to profiteer as much as possible for club. And you really have to question football regulator is much needed, in my opinion, to prevent this sort of thing from happening. Hopefully, they're able to form some form of Phoenix club because I'm realistically, unfortunately, don't see them being able to get their way out of this situation with any ease. Abuka Agwabi, good evening from here. Give me a prediction. Good a prediction, just 2 odds. Well, hopefully my predictions have satisfied you wherever you're zooming in from. Wednesday, I'm rooting for Chesterfield in League Two. Absolutely, so am I. Yeah, thank you all very much for watching. Let me know your League Two predictions down below. Please subscribe if you're new around here. I'll be aiming to get the League One predictions out before the start of the season, and we're going to get back with the score predictions on Friday. And I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye for now.